Hello and welcome to Trish Rock Inspires podcast. This is series 8, Frequency First, Then Reality. This is a space for grounded conversations about peace, frequency, and conscious living, and how our inner state quietly shapes the reality we experience. There's nothing to fix here, just space to pause, reflect, and realign. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to this episode of Trish Rock Inspires. Peace is not passive, it's foundational. In this episode, I want to reframe the idea of peace because peace is very misunderstood and it's often seen as something that you arrive at after life is sorted, after you've healed, after you've resolved, after you've completed something. But peace is not the reward. Peace is a starting point. Peace is not passive. It is stabilising, and it's the frequency that allows clarity, creativity, discernment, and aligned action to emerge. In my book, The Peace Process, peace is never about withdrawal from life, right? It's about becoming internally coherent enough to meet life differently. And when peace becomes your baseline, urgency dissolves, decisions become simpler, and effort reduces. So peace has definitely been misunderstood for a long time, and for many people, peace does feel like something that you're allowed to have only after life is resolved, after you heal, after you achieve success, after certainty, right? And after everything finally makes sense. But, we've been conditioned to believe that peace is earned through endurance, that it arrives once we've done enough, once we've become enough, once we've fixed enough, once we've proven ourselves enough, right? But peace is not a reward for surviving life, right? Peace is the frequency, it's the state of being that really allows life to flow. If what allows you to move, it's what allows you to move through complexity without being consumed by it. And it's what lets you stay present in uncertainty without collapsing or bracing. Peace is not passive, and it's not disengagement. It's not avoidance, and it's definitely not giving up on your desires, right? Peace is stabilization. When peace becomes your baseline, your nervous system no longer needs to stay on high alert in fight or flight. It no longer has to anticipate the next problem or prepare for the next impact. And when the system isn't braced for impact, something important happens. Clarity becomes available, and you begin to see what truly matters, and you also begin to see what doesn't. You stop reacting from urgency. You also stop making decisions from fear, from that fight or flight. And you stop confusing pressure with purpose. And that's a big one there. This is one of the most important distinctions that we can make. Urgency feels like movement, but it's often just fear in motion. Peace, on the other hand, creates movement that's intentional, grounded, and most importantly, sustainable. That is why in my book, The Peace Process, peace is the first doorway, not the last. Finding peace within yourself, with life, for what has been and where you are now, not to dismiss or forget anything that's happened in your journey of life, but to stop battling with it in your mind, right? I know I've carried things, through it forward like 20, 30, 40 years. I still battle with it in my mind, and that is really not peace. Peace is really coming to that point where you're in acceptance of, yes, all of that happened, but here I am now. What decision do I choose now from full acceptance of where I am? That is the power of peace. And you're not acting from fear, old beliefs, or emotions. And peace doesn't mean that nothing moves. It means movement becomes conscious. From peace, boundaries become clean rather than defensive. From peace, creativity flows with more ease because energy isn't being siphoned into protection mode, right? Into defense. And from peace, your discernment sharpens. You know when something is aligned and when it's simply just being loud. Yeah. Without peace, even great opportunities can feel heavy. They feel demanding rather than nourishing because you've got all of those old chaotic thoughts coming in, and they can feel like pressure instead of possibility. And if you've ever achieved something you worked really hard for and still feel unsettled, still restless, still on edge, that doesn't mean the achievement wasn't wrong. It means that the peace wasn't there, that you postponed the peace, right, until the achievement. It means your system was telling itself, we'll relax later, we'll relax later. But later keeps moving to a different goal point. Yeah. So the question becomes, what would shift if peace was no longer conditional? What if peace wasn't something you waited for, but was something that you practiced daily? What if peace wasn't dependent on circumstances changing, but on your willingness to meet life from a regulated, present, peaceful state? Peace isn't something you earn, it's something you allow. And allowing peace doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow without that chaos, without that fighting for deservedness within yourself. When you allow peace, your frequency changes. your body softens, your breath deepens, and your perception of life and yourself expands. And when frequency changes, reality follows. Because we are a reflection of what we're emitting. So it changes, but not because you force it to, but because you're finally meeting life from a place of coherence and alignment instead of resistance. So today, notice where you might be postponing peace. Notice where you're telling yourself, I'll relax when this is over. I'll feel calm once this is sorted. I'll allow some peace into my life when I've figured it all out. Or I'll allow peace into my life when I deserve it, when I've earned it. What if peace came first? What if peace came first? These questions are really a great way to uncover what's going on beneath the surface. And so when you start being aware and you notice where you are not allowing peace, it gives you the big clues as to what area you need to have a look at and ask yourself why, so that you can start bringing peace there as you are right now, and then start making decisions based on peace, not on fear. So what if peace did come first? And what if peace was the foundation, not the finish line? Just let that question sit with you. What if peace was the foundation, not the finish line? Wouldn't it be great to flip that script? There's nothing you need to fix. Just notice what shifts or what softens a little bit within you as you consider that question. And really notice where you are postponing peace, telling yourself you'll feel calm after something changes. But I want to remind you and ask you again, what if peace came first? Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time on Trish Rock Inspires. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Trish Rock Inspires podcast. If you loved this episode, please share, subscribe, or leave a review. It helps reach more people to help them step into their most empowered selves. If you'd like to learn more about the work that I do and how perhaps we could play together, please visit my website at trishrock.com.